Good morning. Good morning. Welcome this morning to everyone in this sanctuary and online. I am Laura Shennum, Minister of Congregational Life here at UUSF, and I am joined on the chancel this morning by our senior minister and dear colleague, Vanessa Rush Southern, as well as three of our graduating high school seniors, Claire, Charlie, and Bree. The list of all the graduating high school seniors can be found in your order of service this morning, along with their beautiful pictures. Thank you to board member Galen Workman, who will share our announcements in a bit. Gratitude to our choir, led by Mark Sumner, and bell choir by Reiko Lang, who also will play our beautiful organ. Appreciation to our pianist, Bill Gaines. Gratitude to our tech team, led by the wonderful Director of Communications, Jonathan Silk. Ushers led by beloved member Linda Messner, and for the beautiful flowers today provided by Judy Payne and Athena Papadakos. Thank you to our Sextons today, Thomas Brown, Jose Matias Pineda, and Francisco Castellanos, who I think Francisco's up doing our cameras as well. Thank you, Francisco, for being so flexible today. As well as to all those who are working with our children today. This is only a few of the many people who make Sunday service happen every single week. So thank you to all of you who make that happen. We hope all of you here and in live stream have an order of service so you can follow along in worship. After the doxology today, only our kindergarten through fifth graders will go to classes. Our middle schoolers and high schoolers will stay here for the youth service. So please note that. If you are a kindergarten through fifth grader and you want to stay in the service, you are more than welcome to do that as well. This morning, we are gathered to celebrate and glean wisdom from our youth. Some of these youth have grown up in this church, and others have grown up in multiple Unitarian Universalist churches. Each come before you to share their journey and what they have experienced during that time. We will also be honoring one of their peers, Helen Chinosini, who died last summer. Our offertory today will be in honor of Helen and given to the Edgewood Center for Children and Families, an organization that does amazing work in supporting families and children. You will hear more about that later in the service. For now, settle in and let's worship.
Please join me as we say the words of our chalice lighting. Those of you joining us via live stream, if you have a chalice or a candle available to you, to light your own as we do so. Let's say the words printed in your order of service. We light this chalice for the light of truth, the warmth of love, and the fire of commitment. We light the symbol of our faith as we gather together.
Good morning. I'm Galen Workman, a member of the Board of Trustees, and I want to thank you for joining us today. I would especially like to give a hearty, warm, happy birthday welcome to our senior minister, Reverend Vanessa Rush Southern. My present to you will to be not sing happy birthday, but we all wish you a great day. If this is your first time joining us in person, or if this is your first time watching us on live stream, thanks for tuning in. If you'd like to receive a copy of our weekly email newsletter, which includes a link to the order of service and Sunday live stream, you can fill out one of our yellow connection forms. Those forms are in the welcome table outside, perhaps in a pew in front of you, and available through a link in the order of service or video description of today's service. And first, I'd like to invite Emma Wakeling, Membership and Young Adult Coordinator, up to make an announcement.
Thanks, Galen. Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Emma. I've recently joined the staff team as Membership and Young Adult Manager, and I just wanted to invite anybody who is new or newer or new-ish to the church today to our newcomer orientation. It's after service at 12:30 in the FARS room. It's a bit of a maze to get there, so I'll just be waiting in the gallery to help everyone find it. It's a great chance to meet other newcomers, meet long-term members, and to ask any questions that you might have about UUSF or Unitarian Universalism. So please do join us after the service. Thank you. Thanks, Galen.
Thank you, Emma. The order of service does list upcoming events and links to opportunities to connect. Please join in any and all that interest you. And I would especially like to invite you to come to the All-Church Retreat Memorial Day weekend, Saturday, May 25th through Monday, May 27th. Check out the details in the QR code listing in your order of service, or talk to Gino Fortunato in the gallery after the service, who's waving his hand here. That's Gino. We really would like you to attend. Also, we've extended the deadline for the deadline application for scholarships until next Sunday, May 12th. So please consider joining this special event. And now, before we pause to greet one another, I want to give a special invitation to those of you on live stream to participate. Greetings on chat. If you are on live stream, maybe comment and chat about your favorite Sonny and Cher song. You'll know why in a minute. And now it's time for a special video for our ministers that will lead us into the morning greetings.
that was only our first take, so I just want to say we haven't perfected our act, but we hope you'll all come to the extravaganza of joy and bring either your first take or your perfected act. So sign up, and let's greet one another.
Well, I don't know if all that's true, 'cause you got me, baby, I got you. Hey, I got you, babe. I got you, babe. They say our love won't pay the rent, for it's earned, our money's all been spent.
Our covenant this morning is something that Claire is going to lead us in.
Now, if you will, please join me as we say together our covenant and sing our doxology. The words of the covenant are printed in your order of service. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its prayer. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in freedom, and to help one another.
Our reading this morning is entitled Putting the Pieces Together by the Reverend Amanda Poppy. And it comes from the Braver, Wiser weekly inspirational columns that were created by all types of Unitarian Universalist leaders and is sent out via email that you can sign up for. This one begins with this quote: "Nature uses only the longest thread to weave her patterns, so that each small piece of her fabric reveals the organization of the entire tapestry." By Richard P. Feynman, physicist. Amanda writes, "I love jigsaw puzzles. I love that moment of satisfaction when you finally find the fourth corner piece and the smooth feel of the completed puzzle under your hand. But what I love most is seeing the picture emerge. How many times have I stared at the original mess of pieces, jumbled, upside down, totally disorganized, and then little by little noticed patterns. Ah, these pieces are the boat because look, there's the same blue. These which looked brown must be the pier, and those tan pieces must be the tree trunk. And how could I have missed the texture on these green ones, which are clearly the leaves? Life has often felt to me like a jigsaw puzzle, or really like the mess of pieces when you first dump out the box. When I've been faced with multiple decisions at the same time, it's felt as though I'm not sure which piece to put in first. Little by little, I try piece after piece until one clicks. Then I can recognize the pieces that might fit around it, and eventually the pattern emerges, not just the picture I'm creating, but in the mess of pieces I still have to pick up. Of course, jigsaw puzzles are for weekends and snowed-in vacations. The times when I've really struggled in my life, it hasn't felt relaxing at all. Years ago, I was trying to decide whether to leave town for a school that was the right fit, or stay in town for a new partner who I thought might be the one. Then again, he might not be. I wasn't at all sure what the picture would look like in either scenario, but it felt like a decision that would change the course of my life. Actually, it did. For weeks, I agonized over making the right decision. If only I could look 20 years in the future, I thought, to see how each choice turned out. If only I knew which choice was the right one. The truth is, in life, real life, we can't see the photo on the cover of the box. We can only place the pieces one by one and see what kind of picture we create. Sometimes we turn out to have chosen the wrong piece. The fit isn't right. Sometimes the picture is wildly unexpected. I've learned to stay present to the slow work of sorting. And for that, I need the reminder of my jigsaw puzzles. The just world that seems totally out of grasp until little by little, advances are made. The mess of a life that appears to have no resolution until little by little, a new possibility of healing emerges. The path forward that is unimaginable until it's not. So I'll keep sorting and finding corners and waiting for the picture to emerge. Spirit of life, show us the patterns. Allow us to notice the pictures, the paths, the ways forward. Remind us that the wrong piece, once played, can still be changed, and help us to sit in the sorting piece by piece as you weave through the puzzle of life.
I invite you into a time of meditation. Settle into your seats. Plant your feet firmly on the ground. Take a deep breath in and out. Let your body settle. If you so choose and feel safe to do so, then close your eyes. Let us turn inward. Feel the rhythm of the breath, in and out, in and out. Find the peace of just being with the flow of the breath. Letting go of yesterday and tomorrow. Feel the restorative power of the peace of this moment. A peace large enough to open to the concerns and sorrows that trouble us. A stillness quiet enough to respond to the joys and celebrations that enliven us, like little baby sounds. There is safety here in the rhythm of the breath. The ebb and flow of life is enacted with each one. Please join me in meditation. May we each return to our breath when we are in need of peace, stillness, safety, and a connection to the ebb and flow of life. May we be reminded all are worthy of this groundedness and strive to provide that space for all. Amen. This morning, we are setting time aside to honor Helen Gianosini, who I mentioned died this last summer. Helen grew up in this church along with many of our high school seniors. Her mom, Sarah Beth, taught in our classrooms. Her absence has had a profound impact on how those in her cohort experienced church over this past year. It has been painful to be in this space without her. Some of those youth want to share with you their memories of Helen this morning.
To me, Helen was always one of the most vibrant forces I had ever seen. I remember my first waffle breakfast, seeing them and thinking that they were one of the coolest people in the world. And I felt so awkward standing next to them and thought that they'd realize that I wasn't cool enough to be friends with. But they never did. And so we were friends for 12 years. I remember we used to scheme together. Most vividly, one of the church overnights when we were 10 or 11 or so, we stole a pack of Oreos from the table of the potluck that we were having, and we brought them into, I think it was the chapel. There was a balcony up there, and we somehow managed to get up there. Everyone was having sword fights with swords made out of balloons, and we were chasing people around, and somewhere in the chaos, we managed to escape to the balcony and eat these Oreos and just talk. And I remember that so vividly, Helen's mischief, their sense of humor, the smile. The last time I saw them in a church context was at the church retreat in 2022, And things felt different. We had grown, we had changed, but we still had that connection. And I remember on the last night before we went back, we went and we sat under the stars with some of the other teenagers, and we just marveled at how big they were and how small we felt. And I just remember lying on the ground, arm in arm. And that is the most recent and strongest memory I have with Helen.
Thank you, Claire. So I've been going to this church since I was 6 years old. And when you're a teenager, when you're 10, 11, going to church at 11 a.m. on a Sunday morning isn't always your first choice. So sometimes, admittedly, I would go to my class, kind of not really want to be there. But every time I was there, I would always see Helen. And they just had this joy and just this energy that lifted the whole room. And every time they would talk or I'd get in there and I'd just see them with their infectious smile, I would instantly want to be there. And all my I kind of want to be somewhere else. I want to be with my friends. I want to be watching football would all go away. And she always made me feel super welcome in the community. So the youth this morning chose Edgewood Center for Children and Families in honor of Helen as our offering. Edgewood Center for Children and Families is a leading mental health care, social services, and academic support organization in the San Francisco Bay Area. Established in 1851, it offers over 15 programs in San Francisco and San Mateo counties, providing prevention, early intervention, community-based services, intensive programs, and residential care to over 2,000 children and youth annually. Edgewood is expanding its services to meet the growing needs of Bay Area children, youth, and families. The organization is broadening outreach, identifying new growth channels, and realigning outpatient services to meet the growing needs of its clients. Additionally, Edgewood has reestablished a teaching institute for research, advocacy, and educational programs to train the next generation of providers. The organization's vision is to empower everyone to live life with understanding, confidence, strength, and joy. Our offering will now be given and graciously received. Thank you.
What they don't tell you when you enter into ministry is the number of children you will watch grow, blossom, and mature over the years. That not only are you marking the years by how long you have been in ministry, but also how many children turn into adults and are launched from the congregation you serve. Although most of the teens in this cohort I have only known briefly, some a bit longer, and one specifically for their whole life, it has always, always been a privilege and an honor to be a witness to their wisdom, humor, and what they do with their lives. I am always blown away by what I learn and how extraordinary they are. Today you will hear from 3 of those students. One is currently directing a play, so I'm really glad that she was able to get here. Another recently went to the state capitol to advocate for arts funding in our education. And another is the student body president at their high school. They will share with you snippets of what was important to them growing up in a Unitarian Universalist church. First, we will hear from Claire.
I've been a part of this church since I was 5 years old, and honestly, I don't know who I would be without growing up here. I remember I sat down to my first waffle breakfast with my mom, and my plate was piled high with waffles covered in syrup and strawberries, and I just felt so at home. I remember my sticky face, I shot her a smile. When I was younger, I used to complain a lot about coming to church on a Sunday. You know, you have things to do, you want to sleep in, spend time with friends, but over time, I realized that without fail, every single time, no matter how much I complained or dragged my feet on the way in, I always enjoyed myself by the time I actually got here. And when I think about Unitarian Universalism, there's so many things that come to mind. My eyes tired, heavy with sleep from waking up early to make breakfast for the winter shelter, the whirlpools that we would always try to make in the pool at the retreat, making hot cocoa with 2 packets of cocoa at the retreat also. We had some fun times. I remember dust collecting in the crevices of my hands from the ladder up to the bell tower at the church overnights. And I remember the wax that would drip on my fingers from the candles that we'd hold at Christmas while singing before we implemented better ways to catch the wax. But most of all, what I think of is love. To me, this church has been so steeped in love, and I am so grateful to have had a chance to grow up here. Even though I was never always coming to every single service or meeting of religious education, such as over Zoom, during COVID, I could not make it to all of them. I'm so grateful because I have learned so much, both material knowledge, like what other religious communities do in their services in our neighboring faiths class, to discovering how to be a better, more well-rounded person. This church has fostered so much growth in me, and I know that no matter how much time passes without me coming back, when I finally do, after stepping into this new chapter in life, I will have a place here, and for that, I will be eternally grateful.
When I think about Unitarian Universalism, I think about my childhood. I think about the hot days spent in themed summer camps and the soft snowfall outside decorating the Christmas Eve service. I think about the religious education lessons catered to connecting the web of life and the literal webs of life made by spiders and the safety hazard that was our religious education building. I think about the sharp thorns from the roses I passed around at the start of every summer and the feeling of water running over the healed scars at the end of the summer. If there's one thing that this religion does well, it's letting kids rejoice in their shared youth. I attribute my connection to nature to the days at church spent plunging my hands into dirt and being scolded for climbing too high in the tree once again. Through my adventures, I learned that appreciating nature was more than just watching the plants from the Congregational garden grow. It was also the pain of stepping on a too-sharp stick and skinning my knees and elbows from the latest bike crash. As I grew older, I saw the same give and take in how I appreciated Unitarian Universalism. I saw the disagreements in the church and the way that they could still be counted on to show up to the latest potluck. I honored the reverent space held during joys and sorrows. I went to more weddings than I did memorial services, and I saw how grief impacted the way people showed up for one another. But just like I had a congregation I could count on to hand me a Band-Aid despite the cut coming from my own shortcomings, I saw how the power of a covenant allows pain to heal through forgiveness and the acknowledgement that we are all living for the first time. This step into a new era of my life is scary, knowing that when I mess up, it requires more than a Band-Aid to heal. But what Unitarian Universalism has taught me is that the worth and dignity of every person extends even when they fail. And while not every person I meet will have come from the same teachings, I can be strong in my empathy and rely on the people around me in my own interconnected web of life. This is my third congregation. The number 3 is very important to me, especially in this time of life. I have lived in 3 states. I've been to 3 high schools. I'm the third child, and it rhymes with my name too. While I did not grow up here, I thank you for being my third, and for being with me as I step into the next chapter of my life. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Charlie. I've been coming to this church for a long time, since I was 6 years old, but this is my first time ever standing up here, so it's kind of cool. 12 years. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I want to share my memory from my first day ever at this church and talk about a super special person who has really impacted me here throughout my life and who I think perfectly encapsulates what's so amazing about this church. So my first day at church, I was 6 years old. I went to the waffle breakfast. So good. Some of the best waffles I've had. Great people. Everyone seemed so happy, talkative. I was with my mom, so I was having a good time. But unfortunately, it took a little bit of a turn. As a young kid, I always had issues being separated from my parents and going to new communities. And unfortunately, my first day in my religious education class was no different. I couldn't even get into class. I was crying, I was scared, I didn't even want to go in the class. And I remember the former minister at that time, Allison Jacks, came and walked around the entire church with me taking pictures. And I don't know if those pictures actually went anywhere. I'm assuming they probably didn't, but she made me feel important. And that really put me at ease. And then I went back to my class, and after that, I was totally fine. And since then, Allison and I had always shared a super special bond. I'd always see her, I'd always give her a big hug, and she'd always smile at me with her big smile and her infectious energy. I'm a big baseball player. I've been playing since I was 5. I'm going to play in college, and I'm also a diehard Cardinals fan. And Allison is a Red Sox fan, and for those of you who don't know, Cardinals and Red Sox have a bit of a rivalry, and the Red Sox, unfortunately, usually get the better of us. So I'd always get to church, and she'd always be talking to me about that. And I know that's kind of a small thing, but just hearing a minister talk about something that I was super passionate about and kind of humor me with that made me feel so welcome. And throughout my time here, this broader community has just meant so much to me. I'm looking in the crowd now, and I see a lot of faces I recognize, some faces I don't recognize, but everyone I do recognize, they always say hi to me. I always love talking to them, and I feel like everyone here cares about me. And having a community here that I can come to no matter what, no matter how long it's been since I've came to a service, no matter anything, and that's just there for me, and I know have a place for me, means so much to me. And as I go off into college in the real world, I hope to come back to this community and stay involved, and also hopefully be an adult role model for other kids like myself. Thank you.
Again, blown away, right? Blown away.
Can I just say before we start that it's such a bummer that you're leaving when people are talking about having a church baseball team finally? And we could totally have a ringer and beat those Presbyterians and Lutherans, just crush them, you know? Sorry, more important things.
We're not competitive at all. I would then like to invite our graduating seniors up to receive a gift from the congregation. So if you're a graduating senior and in the sanctuary, come up. If you're a parent of a graduating senior and that senior isn't here, I invite you to come up to receive their gift as well.
Did you say parents also?
I said if their graduating senior isn't here, they get to get the gift.
Good.
No, Gino is graduating. It took him a while.
Yeah, it's good. Good job.
Yeah.
This morning, you all have shared your wisdom about the journey you had in growing up in Unitarian Universalism and the spaces that are Unitarian Universalist around the country, some of you. Your words, your memories, your experiences, and if you didn't speak, your presence has all enriched this congregation, this community. It's given us nourishment, what you said today, for the days ahead and for continuing to build and nurture this community. So we want to pass on a little bit of wisdom and nourishment for you.
We have asked parents, guardians, chaplains, board members, staff, and so many more to share with you their wisdom, and for some, even some important tools for your journey ahead. We have captured them in these beautiful boxes donated by longtime member Mary Castiglia and made by her son, Chris Castiglia. Thank you so much. We hope these words and tools will provide you with nourishment for the days ahead of you. So each of these boxes contain the same exact thing. So what I'm going to ask Vanessa to do is to pick a name, and that person gets to come pick a box. All right, so I wasn't going to assign anybody boxes. That just wasn't going to be happening. So when your name is called, you get to come pick your box.
Charlie.
Pick anyone?
Pick anyone. They're all the same. All right.
Claire.
Oops.
Graham. Nicholas. Or his avatar.
I'm not big enough to be his avatar.
Bree. That's it, right? Mm-hmm.
Some of our seniors weren't able to join us today because they were working or had other commitments, but these boxes will get to them. Charlie, Bree, Graham, Claire, and Nicholas's avatar. As you step forward into your next chapter, we send with you our fondest hopes and blessings.
May life bring you enough challenge to fuel your dreams, enough affirmation to honor your gifts, enough nurture to give your spirit peace. Believe in your vision, follow your dreams, and know always that when you return to us, you will find here the hands of friends and fans. Blessings as you go. Let's welcome and celebrate our seniors.
Let us rise in body or spirit to sing our closing hymn, This Little Light of Mine. May we leave this space knowing we are loved, knowing we are worthy of love, and extend that love to others we meet today and in the days ahead. Rejoice in this day and in the love that holds us all. May it be so. Amen.